Hello YouTube, it's Claude at Garage Dreams. Today we're going to talk about rocket stoves. What I've got here today is two rocket stoves that I've essentially made as gifts. Before I paint them up, I just wanted to run a test by them and see how they perform. Alright, so this first design weighs in at about 16.4 pounds. It measures 14 inches in height, plus these removable grates on the top. They can actually be disassembled for transportation. The handle's there as well, and then we also have a cover on the firebox, which is to promote air draw through the draft tube. The second and more recent construction is a little bit lighter. This one weighs in at 10 pounds, so a modified grate, which will be a little bit lighter, but obviously not removable. And that door for accessing, for putting wood in, also has a built-in draft regulation here on the front, which works all right. So I want to compare those two, and we're also going to compare them to the classic fire pit. So is it really worth lugging one of these guys along? Obviously, if you're packing, there's some weight there. Even the smaller one, 10 pounds. You could have one hiker carrying this, and your others carrying the food and other supplies. That's a possibility. Then again, if you're on a boat, or you're on a snowmobile, or you're in your vehicle and you're doing some trekking, then these would be a great option. So let's see how they perform. Alright YouTube, so I was not able to get the fire pit going. I guess that's my lack of Boy Scout skills. I could only make 2 fires at once, but we did get them fired up. So you can see there's a good bed of coals in this smaller unit. Same in the larger one. I'm going to show you the temperatures for those as well. So the idea with these fire pits is the taller they are, the more heat that you will have at the top of the unit, which is where your cook surface is located. And that's why I'm experimenting a little bit. I've got the smaller one, which is about 12 inches high, and the larger, which is 14 plus the grate. So I'm going to say about 14 3/4. So if I measure the temperature at the bottom, and hopefully you can see this, get the red down there, I am showing about 165, 170 degrees. And if I move to the top and inside, so I have got 280 degrees in this unit, and then in the larger one at that cooktop I'm seeing 320 degrees right now. Now that's with the vents open, so let's try that with the vents closed. My temperature's declined a little bit, so I'm going to add some wood and see if we can get these back up again. So the other thing, I think the last thing I want to do, and you can see obviously these have heated up a lot. They've blued just from the heat of the fire. So I want to close the firebox off and just have air drawing through there and see if that gives me more heat, which it should. So we'll close this one, and we'll close this one as well, and leave the drafts open and see if that gives us more heat. You can see with the firebox closed off, these are functioning now more like an airtight wood stove that you might have in your home. And so I'm seeing a heat on this smaller unit at the top. That's giving me 200 plus, 210, 215. And in the larger one, I'm seeing about 225, 230. So, and then that cook surface, if I measure that should be higher still. So there I'm registering 320 to 350 on that grate. So certainly enough to cook. Now I haven't tried, a lot of videos on YouTube or have people boiling water and frying eggs, but I think that's a little bit subjective. I guess the same could be said for these. So I'm checking these temperatures now that both fireboxes have been closed off and we just have air drawing through, which is basically the way the rocket stove is supposed to function. And if I measure my temperature at the top of this smaller unit, I'm getting 225, 230 degrees. And on the taller unit, just at the top of that chimney, I'm getting a little less. Actually, I'm seeing 175. So there you have it. Smaller unit, just as efficient. Smaller box, so you'll have to keep a bigger eye on it. And full disclosure, you're going to want to use very small tinder to get these going. And it'll take some paper and something that's dry. I used hardwood that was seasoned from last year, but again, it's been out of the moisture, so it took a little while to get it fired up. Alright, so that concludes our rocket stove comparison. As you've noticed from the temperatures, a smaller unit does produce more heat, but of course has a smaller firebox, so it'll need to be tended to a bit more carefully. On the other hand, it's only 10 pounds, so a lot easier to pack in and out. I think that would be my option. May in the future try building an even smaller unit if I can get it down to 8 pounds. I think that'd be even better. Ultimately, they're just a great unit. I hope you had as much fun viewing as I had building these things, and also seeing how efficient they are. Unfortunately, these ones are gifts. I'm going to paint them up and send them on their way to the recipients, and if I want to enjoy one, it's time to get back to the welding table.